All righty, everyone. Welcome back to the Coaches Union. Mr. Ball, how are you today, sir?
Fantastic. Gotta make it look like I'm not partying over here with this soda.
How is everything?
Dude, it has been a week, man. Currently finals are next week. I have some big project that I'm procrastinating doing right now, so that's why we're doing this podcast. Um, no, it's going good, man. I'm about to start a world tour of shows and travel. So we go to Denver next week, which is super
Fuck yeah.
exciting. Put Galango on stage, hope we come out with a banger. But yeah, I'm excited, dude. I'm excited to finish this semester up. So like all I can do is bodybuild coach from like then through August will be really
Hmm.
exciting. Um, and then graduate in December. So hell yeah. Uh,
Almost there, dude.
how things with you, dude?
We're good, man. I saw 229 on the scale, so that's cool.
I was gonna ask if we broke below 231 yet.
Yeah, we have. It's nice. I can definitely tell in the gym that I've lost 30 pounds. Like I'm starting to leverages are starting to adjust rather quickly, but energy wise, like I feel normal otherwise.
Good, good. Yeah, man, with you, like I'm just letting the momentum do its thing, right? Like, God forbid we get ready early. We have a lot of other shows available. Um,
Yeah.
but I'd rather that than let it creep on into which, I have a plan B, but the plan B, there's no like big dance right after it. So that's not what I want to do. But
Hmm.
yeah, overall, man, like you're moving and grooving. So I try not to, jinx it or talk too much hype behind it. And
Yeah,
so
let me knock on some wood. It's
yeah.
just happening. I'm just not gonna think. I'm just gonna do. It's been fucking awesome. At this point, I'm like, I feel like I could prep forever if this is what it's gonna feel like with how quick. I mean, we're dropping 3.5 pounds a week still.
Yeah.
Oh,
And those listening, that's not normal. Like
no.
it's not like I'm not planning on that to happen. I am feeding him a little bit each week that comes by. We're gonna start going into some higher like feeding meals now. Um, but yeah, it's just like with Chris, his number one thing is like just getting in shape. So like if we just get there faster, I'm not too concerned. Like it's not muscle that's coming off. So um
Yeah.
yeah, I'm just riding the wave because something will happen in the upcoming weeks. Like we'll have some stall probably around the 225, 224 mark. And then, that last little bit to come off is always tough. But
Yeah.
yeah, I'm excited, dude. You are like, I don't know. I do have so many y'all competing this year. You're like right in the middle of it. So
Hmm.
it keeps me excited. That's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. I think what it goes back to is looking at relative how high my food got in the off season and how long it stayed high. And I also took the Nick Walker approach where my average steps were less than 700 a day. It
Yeah.
worked. I
Yeah.
told you it was going to work.
You did not move. And then it was like the start of prep, you're like, I walked outside today. So
Yeah.
it
It's like I saw the sun and touched the grass and I lost 4 pounds. It's fucking sick.
I used to do that. It's like I would keep cardio in my off seasons, but then like as I got closer to prep, I would pull cardio completely. And then
Hmm.
so I could start it up again in like a month, just for a little, slingshot or whatever you want to call it. But the little tactics like that work. Now, I'm not advising to people like have a sub 1,000 step count like Chris, but
Yeah.
um,
Yeah. This was a game for me because one, I moving forward, like I will be doing cardio in the off season because I do just feel significantly better doing cardio. But it was to see because my appetite actually blows in the off season. Like my food can only get so high before I like just won't bring myself to eat.
yeah,
So it was more of like, how can I create as much of a imbalance in calories? And that was also through just dropping activity as low as humanly possible.
yeah,
Now my training sessions were like 2.5, 3 hours long to also counteract that. But
yeah.
um, yeah, we just got food high and food's still high. Like I'm not really ever
Yeah.
hungry.
Yeah. What was what I called it your bikini breakfast?
Mm-hmm.
What was it? What was
Dude,
your
it was oh, it was like 4 packs of Better Oats oatmeal, the
Mhm.
low sugar one. Greek yogurt, whey isolate, and berries and almond butter, I think.
Yeah, you were just like anti like anything but Greek yogurt at meal one.
Yeah,
Uh,
dude, it had to be Greek yogurt. I miss it so fucking
I
much,
just
dude.
started I just started driving Greek yogurt and oats up like through the roof.
Yeah, it worked, and here we are. Overall, man, I'm very excited for what this prep is looking like. I have very minimal doubts, and this is like the first time I can look at my physique and not see glaring weak points, which is cool. I also had glute lines yesterday in my back double, so that's kind of quirky.
Yeah, you're right where like you're at a competitive like national level call out now. For sure. You know, and that's where we needed to be.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't need to go back, and it's like, and that's the thing, man, is like, you know, you aim for a top five, and if you get sixth then you're seventh, and there's like 17 people in your class, and it's like, okay, that's pretty respectable, but like you're not going back to get 12. Like you're not
Mm-hmm.
outside of you're not outside of a top 10 anywhere now. So
Yeah,
very confident in that. And my goal, obviously top five, obviously real like win, but like respectable top five call out is where I want.
absolutely. You want to hop into this?
Let's do it, dude. We got some good ones.
So, how is being a coach? How does that affect your personal life?
Dude, I've thought on this question a good bit.
Yeah.
Because it, I want to hear your take on it because like I have a few different viewpoints I'll look at it from.
Um, I don't have a personal life at this
Yeah,
point.
that's my answer. You don't have one.
You don't get one.
Yeah.
And that's cool. I mean, we sign up for this shit, right? You know what I mean? But like, I'll use an example. Easter, I went to go see my family, drove up to West Virginia and back in the same day. Do not recommend. It was like 10 hours of driving. Um, and I'm with my family, whom I haven't seen since Christmas. And I'm getting text messages from athletes about Instagram. Hey, I posted this. Should I delete it? You know what I mean? Like there's just like I've said it before in a previous episode, we are inevitably what we charge. A part of that is also our boundaries. And there are when people need us. And it's at all hours of day and night. And vacations don't count, and birthdays don't count, and being sick doesn't count. And none of that counts. So I just don't have a personal life.
Yeah. And before I dive into this, I love this job.
Mm-hmm.
I've been working with my boss, so all I ever have to do for the rest of my life is this job. I
Mm-hmm.
love my athletes. All you guys listening, y'all know that. They're and so like the ones who have been with me for a long time or like, you know, they're my ride or dies. Like this doesn't obviously apply to you, but and we've touched on this previously, like when athletes leave, like
Mm-hmm.
you do so much for them, you go out of your way so much, and then they just leave. It's like that. It's the what have you done for me lately business type deal.
Mm-hmm.
And it is unfortunate because like I'm not saying this because like I need it or I want it, but it's very rare client like anytime a client's talking to you, it's about them.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And it doesn't matter what you're doing. It doesn't matter if you're training, if you're in your office working, if you're out on a date, if you're traveling for a show. It does not matter what you are doing. It is help. I need this. What do you think of this? What are your thoughts on this? And again, that's what they pay us for, right?
For sure.
But it is really cool, like when a client will ask, like, how are you doing? How's your week?
Mm-hmm.
And like I notice I perk up because I get to tell them how my week's been.
Yeah.
Um, and it's never, but that to me is why like channels of communication is so important. And it's why I stress so much on my clients to use the app to message me or WhatsApp if they're, you know, not if they're overseas or something. It's because I log into those things like on my time I'm ready to respond. Like if you text me at 7 a.m. because you still have my cell phone number for working with me previously, or you send me a DM on Instagram and it's 11 o'clock at night, like I'm on Instagram just being bored, like myself. Like it's just my time. Like my phone may be with me and I'm at my grandmom's house, or, I'm
Mhm.
like doing something. I'm at practice. Like I notice that a lot of times, like last week, like people will text me after I get done off the jiu-jitsu mats, and you do it. Like obviously we're friends, but I just won't respond because like I've read it and I'm exhausted. I'm like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
So it's unfortunate that like there are times where, or there could just like, as a coach, you don't have time to have a bad day.
Mm-mm.
So even if I'm having the worst day, you guys will never know it. But that
Mhm.
is why those channels of communication are so important, is because like there are days that I'm not having a good day. And you may text me or you may DM me and I'm real short, or like, oh, coach was kind of mean today. Like, yeah, it's because I have other stuff happening in my life that doesn't revolve around this one little thing. And you caught me where you weren't supposed to catch me. Like I have those channels of communication for a reason. But yeah, I think overall, man, like we don't have personal lives, and that goes out because again, man, I was thinking about deep in this, like if we take time out of our day, out of our work day to go, which dude, literally we could work every day. I do typically work
Same.
every day.
Same.
Like any time of night, it can be like nighttime here and I can talk to clients overseas. It could be daytime here. I could talk to my people here. So like at any point, if I wanted to, I can work. So I think that pushes the button further on like if we were to say like, hey, what's a love language for us? Is if we knowingly set aside time from our daily work to spend it with you or to spend it doing something or to like manage our check-in schedule to go spend time with you or do something. That is like the highest pinnacle of love language I think a coach can give
Absolutely.
because it's like we're managing so much around like the 4, 5, 6 hours, whatever we're gonna do together to like put that on the back end. Like I can't give you any more than that. If I could put a dollar amount on it, and it's expensive. Like if you
Yeah.
tally up all my clients, like so I think if I were to say like while we don't have a personal life, when we try to make one, like when we try to take our personal life into, consideration, if we're spending that with you, whether it be friends, significant other, whatever, like appreciate that because
Yeah.
that's a lot of time and it's something that's truly important to us that we're putting you above that. Like I literally can't give you any more than that value.
Yeah. Yeah. I think what really boils down to is we don't. And again, I'm going to preface, I love what I do. I've fought, scrapped everything to get to the position that I'm in life at this point. And I try not to take that for granted. There have been times where I absolutely have, to be completely candid, but we don't have work-life balance is really what this means, right? Like I don't like, I'm not going to try to be the fucking, Grant Cardone business guru and say to him, but I grind every day. I work every day because I have obligations to people now. People pay me for an obligation, right? And it's my goal to make them successful, right? And that is an everyday, all hours. Like I get up at 6:45. I probably already have a handful of messages, and I will have messages throughout the entire day while I'm training, while I'm doing cardio, while I'm doing whatever until midnight at the absolute earliest. Sometimes it's even later than that because I do have third shift people. I have second shift people as well, and I try to make myself as available as I can. And so within that, it's incredibly challenging because, to your point, if I block out my schedule or I put my phone down for a few hours, one, I start to like linger. I start to like get fidgety because I'm like, oh fuck, what messages have I missed? Because even during this podcast, I'll probably check my notifications 50 times. I'm like, oh, did I miss a text? Has anybody messaged me? Do we need anything? Um, so it's like, it's just prolonging when that work has to be done because it's going to come anyways, right? So we don't really get to have a personal life, but that's fine because I get to basically be a bodybuilder for a living. That being said, I think sometimes people take for granted, to your point, it's like, when was the last time someone's like, how are you doing? What's your day look like? What are you excited about? and maybe that's not necessarily their position, but there are some people like my assistant coaches that I also coach who like very frequently will check in on me, and it means the world to me because it's like my job to check in on 50 people, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. You ask me a lot like that's and it helps me a lot. Because like people don't think about it, man. Like they just they see the clients and they see the results and like, oh, you're working and all that, but it's like it's a lot, man. Like it's if but like we take our job very personal, right? So like
Mm-hmm.
that's why it's hard to have personal life. Like I'm like you, I it's hard for me to vacation, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like you'll see next week, dude. We'll be in Denver for a show, obviously for work, but like we'll be working
Mm-hmm.
every day, like outside of when it's time to go eat and train. Like our schedules won't change. We'll just happen to be around a group of our friends. And so that's something that, but at the same time, like, even when I try to go on vacation, like I like what I do and I can't stand like owing people something. Like I can't stand like people waiting to hear from me. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so like I would rather just set aside 2 or 3 hours to just do it. And that way I can, because if I try to take myself out of that and like go to the beach for 3 days and just not work, I'm not going to be able to relax. So I would
Mm-mm.
rather take that like hour and a half and just do my work and then go relax. Cause like that way I can be 100% me in both scenarios, not
Yeah.
like I'm halfway in on both. And so that's something that it just comes with like if you have people who know me or people who are around me, like they see that. Like they're, like I don't go anywhere. I don't really leave my house a whole lot, man. Like,
Mm-mm.
sure you don't either. Like, um, it's funny, man. Like people like they'll say I'm a ghost because like I don't. They never see me. They're like, well, we don't know what you do. You just I'll show up places and there I am. But I like it that way.
Yeah.
But majority of the time, man, it's because I'm working or thinking about work or there's some problem. So yeah, we don't really, and even like traveling for shows, like you try to include your personal life with it, right? Like it's like, hey, let's go to this show, or I got a show here. Do you want to make a trip out of it? Like, but
Mm-hmm.
outside of that, it's hard to manage both. So,
Well,
um,
it's hard to like relax after getting railed by a show weekend too.
yeah, and that's something like I don't know, and I guess like if you're talking personal, like you with a significant other, like they need to understand what like how you work and how you like mentally process things. Like for me, man, I literally could not like verbally speak all day. Like, so there's plenty of times where I'm just quiet and like you may like people may be like, oh, is something wrong? And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like in
Mhm.
my head, I've said 7,000 things.
Absolutely.
So, but like I just don't say it because I'm so used to being by myself in an office in a room that like I'm fine or my wheels are churning, but like, I just don't say it out loud. So that's something like, when you get in those work modes, like you said, it sometimes might not be the most enjoyable because you're just exhausted, but like sometimes too, like you just need someone there that you're like, hey, just like get me for a second. Like just give me 10, like you just being here is gonna like make me be better, and so
For sure.
that kind of goes into like how to include your personal life with it is like, having someone who's understanding and is open to travel and all that and making the most of it, man. And that's one thing that sucks, dude. Like we'll go to some really cool cities, but like you don't get to enjoy anything there, like
Mm,
it's like, okay, well, it's a nice hotel, it's a cool gym, and all right, that was a cool place to eat. Like, then it's
that's
on,
it.
it's on to the next one. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, dude, if you go to a show weekend, we're going to the same three places basically. We're going to go to the grocery store, we're going to go to the place that we're sleeping and that we're going to be working at,
Mhm.
and the gym, and then the venue, and that's it, right? And that's fine. Like, dude, again, like I love what I do. I love show weekends. I'm excited as hell for next week and the slew of shows that follow. They're all behind me. And that's my time to like actually leave the house beyond my one trip to Publix and my trip to the gym every day. That's what I choose. Like I think that's what this job requires is a lot of simplicity in that regard because it is like ultimately our job is to serve people, and so therefore they always have to come first, and that's where it becomes a very fine line. Like for me, for example, like I'm having to draw the line of, okay, I'm an athlete, but I am a coach first, right? And I finally figured out that groove this year. It's only taken me a few attempts to get it right. um but that's just something that comes with the territories. Like there's actually no days off from this if you want to be successful and develop relationships with your athletes.
Yeah, and so like, next week we'll have really cool photos, we'll have cool shots in the gym and show day shots, but like the reality of next week is gonna be like me anxious with headphones plugged in because I love all y'all, but at the same time I need to be in my zone and like I'll come to life like Saturday night after I get a win, and then Sunday I'll be kind of cool, but then I'll be catching up on Saturday's check-in. So like while it may look like, oh my gosh, we're having the best time, a lot of it we just pick up our life here and we move it to set location, and then we just happen to have some good training partners and we're laughing while we're working. But like, other than that, the day to day, regardless of where you go, where you travel, it's always going to be the same.
Yeah, we'll have to take some generic pictures in front of our laptops to show people that we work elsewhere.
Yeah, yeah,
You
like,
know,
yeah, God,
that
yeah.
leans into social media, which is our next topic. Actually, do you think social media is helping the sport or making it more gimmicky?
Oh, and I think overall it's helping. At the same time, like the more stuff you see and the more wrong stuff you see, the worse it can make it, right?
Yeah.
But like, when I first started, man, like I was like lifting weights back in 2009.
Mm-hmm.
Like, YouTube had like kind of just started.
Mm-hmm.
Instagram didn't come out yet. So like it was very like Dana Lynn Bailey was like the jacked girl then.
Mm-hmm.
That was like the cool thing. But it wasn't as like trendy. So it was kind of I enjoyed it better then. I think the biggest I mean, there's pros and cons to everything, but I think now my issue with how social media has made it is like you get these like tiny guys, like 160 pounds, and like, I have some, yeah, 160, 170 pound guys who just like are in the stringers and doing the single arm pull downs and like all the shit that they see on social media. But it's like, dude, you don't even have a foundation yet. Like, I was listening to this quote. Ron Partlow was like, it's like trying to build a house and you're starting with the doorknobs. Like,
Yeah.
that's the equivalent of like all these little kids and their stringers and their SARMs, and then they're starting with, oh, I see the single arm pull down, but they don't barbell row two plates, right? So it's like that's the issue with social media. And but I think at the same time, look how much the sport's grown, right?
Yeah.
And so I think it's our job as coaches to funnel out in and out this isn't just the social media or what you see on social media. This is the reality. Can you make it through that threshold or that barrier to really buy into this process of what bodybuilding really is?
Mm-hmm.
And I think we do a good job of that. But I think there's a lot of coaches out there who just take advantage of, yeah, you want to, take 10 milligrams of Anavar and wear some Gymshark, then fuck yeah, I'm your coach. And, we're gonna, you know, duck walk across the gym 3,700 times and you're gonna get glutes and that's that. Like,
Yeah.
so while it is helpful for growing the sport, there's a lot of like detrimental stuff that comes with it.
Yeah, it's a double-edged sword. And a very extreme one at that. Because to your point, man, it like, I got into it in 2012. And so like that was when like Jeremy Buendia was a big deal. This was when the natty or not was still like a very big topic of conversation. And seeing how it's evolved since, like it kind of drives me insane a lot of times because I see the blind leading the blind, and the blind tend to get the platform quicker, which is fascinating. When it's again like, and I'm gonna just say this is a typecast, so if anybody's offended, I do apologize. But like, you take a 170-pound kid who's got abs and a little bit of delts, and you put them in like half natty lighting, they hit a Ziz pose, and now they're social media famous and sponsored by whatever brand you may think, and now they're the truth. They are the guiding light. And they haven't even guided their own light because that is extremely attainable. Right. Um, and it's like, dude, it's like nowadays it's like peptides. Like peptides are the talk of the town now. It was SARMs. Now we're everybody wants to take Melanotan, everybody.
Yeah.
And now I'm seeing people try to say Melanotan is can't cause any side effects, which it can. So like, don't fucking believe that shit. But there's just so I think the issue is there's so much misinformation out there. I think some people are just willfully ignorant to the information they're trying to provide. But then on the flip end, we see a lot of people who are just extremely disingenuous, predominantly people who will air quote coaches, right? Like they don't know half a fuck about what the hell they're doing. Um, and that's where I have a frustration, and it is because people are unknowingly buying into that and then getting wronged by the end of it. They're not getting anything out of it.
Yeah, that's a good point. And I think a lot of it with social media, it makes it all seem attainable, right? Like people talk about getting a pro card like it's just something you go do. And like you said, or like you'll get, I mean, um, you get these like genetic anomalies who look amazing and then they're young, they're 20, 22, and they blow up and their social media is great, but like they just end up looking the same for year after year because they're content because they didn't get into the sport wanting what the sport is. They got into it because they looked good and they got a contract or they got a little supplement deal and then that like gives the other kid who has piss poor genetics the reality of like, oh well, maybe I can get that too. And then it's like I don't need to go to school. I'm just gonna do what he did. Look at him. He drives a leased fucking whatever car. They're
Mm-hmm.
like it's a rental. A lot of people don't know that. A lot of there's like in Miami and California there's Turo businesses that like rent out cars for these like social media influencers to take their photos with.
My buddy owns one in North Carolina.
Yeah, like it's a thing, right? So like they're painting this lifestyle so you can like try to buy into it, but it's not reality. And that's one thing that you run across those kids like, man, like they could be really good, but their buy-in is usually next to shit. And you can't, and you end up, it's the guys like us, or, like the guys on my roster or your roster who end up passing those guys. Like they may start and looking at them like, man, like, look at that. Like, yeah, that guy's made it. Look, I want to be just like that. But like the celebrity fades away. And then
Mhm.
the dog in them passes them. And then like, man, remember when I thought that guy was Jack? Now look at me. Like
Yeah.
that's something. And dude, I used to feel that way with coaching, man. I used to look at all these who I thought were big time coaches and who I thought were, the cream of the crop or the pinnacle. And I'm like, yeah, I remember like when I used to look up to you, and now like I run circles around you.
Mm-hmm.
And not to say that like they weren't good at one time, but like they just sold out into another lane. And I think, yeah, and this is getting off topic because like social media is one of the reasons we're in business,
For
right?
sure.
It's how we get clientele all over the world. But at the same time, like you just can't get caught up in just for the social media. Like I make social media posts because I have to, because like,
Mhm.
but I don't do it. I like my stuff isn't scheduled. I don't plan it. I don't have like we have a media person, but like they don't tell me what to post. They don't write my stuff. Like I don't have requirements of what I need to do each day. When I post something, it's because it's what I'm feeling right there in that moment and it's real.
Hmm.
And that's the difference in someone who does that or like how you'll do it. And then someone who's like, well, all right, this week I got 22 posts I got to make. I got to do 7 stories. I have to tag 7 clients. I got to do this. Like they're checking boxes of like a to-do list. And we're like, this is genuine data or this is genuine how I feel. And you see it in the feedback on the post. Like when I say something or you say something, people not only engage, there's coaches that'll repost it, they'll comment because it's like, man, that's some real shit. And that was always my viewpoint in social media was like, I turn the volume knob up on the arrogance, on the charisma. It's how I feel. I just turn the volume up a bit. But also like I always want whenever I post something, regardless of who the coach is, who the athlete is, they may not 100% agree with what I'm saying, but they at least can see I have a valid point. Like
For sure.
even if they're like, oh, well, I do things different, that's okay, but you still see what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And most coaches don't even think that much into it. They're just like, oh, I gotta do this week because that's what, I'm told, and that's what's going to get me clients. And it's like, but you notice those engagements is like, oh, well, here they are again.
Well, it's also like they don't produce fucking results. That's what like drives me up the entire fucking wall, dude. Is like, and we see it. There's many people on this list where I'm watching that. My grandfather put it best this weekend. If you got to boast about it, you probably aren't about it, right? Where it's like, hey, I'm busy. Hey, I'm busy. Still busy. I'm still busy. And it's like, but you're fucking not. You're playing this game of I'm going to make myself look busy, which is so counterintuitive. If you're like, hey, I'm so busy, I'm killing it, this, that, and the third. Oh, but I have 5 spots available. But I'm so busy, but now I have 3 spots available. And
Yeah.
then next week, I'm going to have 5 spots available again. And I'm going to keep doing that because you're not getting clients because you're full of shit. Because again, there's no results. There's no transformation that I can even go, wow, let alone I'm having to look at it and go, okay, which is the before and which is the after?
And there's only one coach who I know genuinely like says I'm not taking clients on after this date, and that's this guy who works for us, Neto. He's literally like, come June, I'm not taking on anymore. And he literally tells them no. But yeah, and that's why, dude, like I don't, and we're going down a big hole here, but so let's just ride it.
Yeah, fuck it.
It, I, look, I always have room on my team. Always.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you fit my mold, if you fit what I like to work with in an athlete, if I fit your price point, like even if you don't fit my, like if I see value and not just like, oh, they have good genetics or they have potential, but like if I see something in you, there I am never filled up. And I can say this with a triple digit roster. I am never too full.
Mm-hmm.
And that is why I will never say I have X spots available because at the same time, me and just saying I'm never full at the same time, it's you have to fit my criteria. I tell people no a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But so like while I am never full, my doors are not always wide open just because you have $400. So like I am very selective in that. So,
Mm-hmm.
but I just don't, it just doesn't look legitimate. It doesn't look like, you know, it just, it's not genuine, right?
That's the problem with this is like go sell insurance or go do sell used cars or sell anything else other than this, as there has to be some amount of morality in it. And this is again, coaching is not the space where you can fake it until you make it. You have to know it and then do it and then make it. And that takes fucking time. But I promise posting 17 times today of whatever bullshit is not going to be the answer. Because on the flip end, the way that I look at this is to your point, I'm the same spot. I don't have a triple digit roster. I will take you if you knock on my door, I'll open it and talk to you. And if it works, let's fucking run that shit. I don't care. I don't, and you don't have to be a competitor. I work with anybody as long as like, your expectations and your effort and your ego and all these other things align and make sense, and you are coming to me in a place of being willing to be coachable, let's go do it. I don't care. Right. And I will always have spots open for that. I'm not to the same degree. I'm not going to go, 2 spots available. I'm closing my bookstore. I'm fucking not. I need money. I want people. I want to change lives. So I'm always there. But on the flip end, if you're saying, hey, I'm super busy, but I still have 5 spots available, but then you're not producing results, what do your current clients think of that? You see
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
And I just and so and it's not just like bodybuilding coaching or wellness
Yeah.
coaching. I see this with posing coaches. So like
Mm-hmm.
I'm literally not even thinking of one person in particular. I'm thinking of my Instagram feed on
Mm-hmm.
what I see. And so that's where it's like there's just a lot of that just being thrown in your face. But how I get clientele is my results and
Mm-hmm.
word of mouth. It's
Mm-hmm.
not like it's very rare that like I put up a story and someone, like just clicks on is like, oh, thank God they're open. Like, if anything, I like it when people ask me, hey, do you have room? Are you still taking clients? Because it puts you in a space that you're exclusive and like it's a value to like work with you. Like it's a privilege to get to work with me. And I love that saying. I had a girl the other day,
Mm-hmm.
sweet girl, but we had a phone call and it was great. She followed up, like she asked a couple more questions, and then she asked for a reduced price, and then she asked me what my credentials were for bodybuilding or for coaching. And so while I listed her this whole list off, I was like, I just don't think this is it. I got someone else
Mm-hmm.
I recommend to you, but you're not buying into me. Like, you already asked like what separates me from other people, and I already gave you a good answer. But like now I'm having to show you my credentials and this, that, and the other. I was like, I have plenty of people who like are reaching out to me. I want to work with you. I've been wanting to work with you. I've just been saving up my money. I'm just waiting on this. Like, I don't need to like sell myself. Like, either you're
Right.
coming to get down or not. Because if I have to sell you to get in the door, every decision I make, I have to sell you again and again and again. And I don't have the time or the energy for that. Like, I need you to come to me knowing that we're getting down and we got work to do, and I'm the guy to get the job done.
Yeah. Dude, the moment someone told me they started donating blood plasma to save up their money to do 6 month in full with me was like the moment I stopped begging people to try to believe in me.
Yeah, and while I have to learn to say no at
Mm-hmm.
times, because like if you water down your pricing, and I'm not saying like I'm a stickler for pricing, like I'll work with people if they
Mm-hmm.
genuinely don't have it. But there are times where you have to take value in yourself as a coach and what your time is worth. Out of respect, it's not. And people are, oh, you think you're worth that much, this and the other. Like, yeah, it's not about right now. It's about everything I've done to get here is
Mm-hmm.
what you're also paying for. And that's where, if you water that down, someone's not going to respect you enough.
Mm-hmm.
And so like you have to be okay to let some people go if they can't afford you.
Mm-hmm.
But again, like I didn't come to them asking to coach them, right? And so,
Yeah.
but I think all in all, to bring this all back, social media is why we thrive. It's also why we have headaches. Um, but again, I think if we look at it as we're the filtering process from the Instagram bullshit to the reality of what a bodybuilding, athlete is, regardless of the division, my clients will go on and take everything with them that I've shown them, and they'll pass it on, and it'll just keep getting passed along, how it should be done.
Absolutely. I think that's what this is all about, is passing the torch, because there's just so much information out there now that it is hard for the untrained eye to navigate and sift through that. And that's where you and I both, with like, I mean, combined, we have like over almost 30 years of experience. Like, that's where we come into play very frequently. It's one of those things where like obviously I'm very fortunate for social media. It especially TikTok esque demographic drives me up the fucking wall because nobody knows in good hell what they're talking about, and it's very annoying. But that's what we're here for. Um, this is a good one. Favorite and least favorite shows and or the experiences around them.
Bodybuilding shows, I'm assuming.
I'm assuming, yeah.
Um, Favorite shows. I should at least get a free ticket for like shouting these shows out. The Nashville Fit Show. Love that
Great show.
show.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the Great Tennessee Valley Show. Shout out to Will Wise,
Uh,
ride or die, for that show. That's the People Show here in Alabama. Um, what's another good show I really liked? Uh, you'd be thinking of some too. Night of Champions. I really like Night of Champions,
yep.
in Chattanooga.
Mm-hmm.
And Nationals. I really love Nationals. And then that'll
Mm-hmm.
segue to I do not like North Americans. Um,
Shit.
it's yeah, so I love you. It is something that if you've never been to North Americans, you literally like if you're not at the Sheraton Hotel, you have to take this bridge across there. The roads in Pittsburgh is like me and Chris can't walk shoulder to shoulder down the roads without stepping into the sidewalk. And so like getting there, trying to Uber there, trying to drive a rental car there, I've done both. It's miserable. You end up going on and across the bridge 1,700 times. The hotel's hot. Um, it's a long day. Like bikini prejudging doesn't start till like 3 p.m.
God.
It's a long day, and that's girls only day.
Yeah.
Um, so I think I got the worst taste in my mouth because the first year I went, I had 4 clients on 4 day on 3 days.
Buddy.
Yeah, so
Buddy.
never do that again. Last time I
Fuck.
only had 2 clients on 2 days, but yeah, it's just I just wish it was in a more convenient location.
Gotcha.
That's my biggest ick with it.
Gotcha. I'm trying to think. Favorite. Okay, so for me, favorite show experience, Flex Lewis Classic,
Oh,
always.
bring that and bring back the Music City,
Dude, yes.
Brandon Curry's.
Dude, I am still technically the reigning champ of the Flex Lewis Classic, 6 years running. Um, if anybody can get a hold of Flex, my belt was stolen when my Jeep was stolen, which will forever haunt me until the day I die. Um,
Oh,
yeah, dude, that fucking blows. It was a Cardillo belt, dude, it was so sick. So that's thing, but we're talking just favorite shows in general. Greater Valley, love that show. Iron City, I love that show. I really just like any show where we get to hang out, truthfully. So any like show in Birmingham, I love. Um, United Champions, I love. I like Battle too, which they run very. I mean, Alan puts on a wonderful production. So shout out to the Sizemores. Um, I'm trying to think of what other shows. Hmm, I haven't been to a national since it was in Orlando, so I can't really speak to that. Junior Nationals is cool. It wasn't fun to lose there, but it's fun to watch. I think probably least favorite. I'm going to preface this. I love Beano to death. I love the promoter of the Knox. I hate the Knox and how it's ran.
I'll jump in on this with you because I love Beano too. But the fact we can't bring in food at a
Mm-hmm.
bodybuilding event and the fact that we can't bring photographers in makes me not want to go.
That's where I'm at. Where like last year, I spent $400 on a photographer to come out, and we found out when we walked up, can't do that. So, and then like going to the gym afterwards, couldn't take pictures there. So I'm like, okay, well, I just spent $400 for a whole lot of nothing. Um, I've done the show. I like it as an athlete backstage. It's pretty cool. Like there's a lot of different rooms to sit in. I think it's ran well, but it's just like, it's literally the fact that they have the security team there that they do, which I know that's not Beano's doing. So that's why I want to preface that. Like, love Beano, love the show, just hate the security part of it.
We
Cause
just
I'm
need
also
a
like,
we need a
it's the Knox
venue.
Classic to do what?
We need a new venue for it.
They need a new venue for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
If they had it anywhere else, I think it would a lot more people would want to come because it's also there's not a hotel super close. It's like a quarter-mile walk is the closest hotel. Parking's kind of a bitch. It's just there's a lot that I think could be done better for the people that run it and how much they care, but it's the civic auditorium that has a lot of like discrepancies against what they want to do.
Yeah, that's a big I'm with you on that. And again, it's nothing against Bino, it's just the fan and coach experience I'm not a fan of there. Um it and honestly, I don't know why, like what's the big fuss about bringing in a camera? Like, oh God, we're gonna take a picture of them on stage. Like your show photographer should be so much better than whoever the fuck I have in the audience with me for $500. Like, granted, we got some bangers of photographers with us, so like, but we're not getting the NPC News Online photo. Like, we're getting the cool, and also we don't even rarely take pictures of the stage. But if we do, like, yeah, they look pretty good, but it's just different, right? Like, we can't compete with Gilco or Whitman. Like, we're not trying to.
Fuck
We're
no.
trying to document your show and like your background, all your sponsors are still going to be seen. So like, and
Look
sometimes
at
go ahead.
Sorry, I was gonna say, look at Greater Valley. Look at what Will did. Will is a fucking genius for finally doing the right thing and having numerous photographers there to
Yeah.
shoot the athletes backstage exclusively, to shoot the crowd, to shoot the stage, to shoot everything. Because again, it's just promotional content for you as the promoter.
Yeah. Like
If we
why?
all look cool as fuck, we're all going to come, you
Yeah.
know?
Like why not? Like there's you get no, you get more out of that than the $90 photographer package that you sold the athlete that they can pull the photos offline anyway. Like,
Yeah.
so unless it's Gilco, who's Mitch, who's fucking awesome, or
Mm-hmm.
unless it's Whitman, then like, yeah, you're probably not going to get me to buy much, like, because I want the video reel for sure. And they take some sick photos. But if you have just like generic photographer B for your show, then like, yeah, I probably would rather have my photographer come do it. Or Tennessee Valley, like, you get Justin Peck and Thomas Doe to do it. And they're hitting every angle because it's like you got big names and coaches in the audience. You want to capture that moment. You want to capture different angles of the athletes. You want to capture them backstage. Like you make it look like a damn movie. And
Mm-hmm.
and then people get done like, oh, what show was that? That looks really cool. Um,
And I guarantee Greater Valley will have a bigger turnout this year than last year, and it'll be the same next year, and then so on and so forth.
Yeah, and we're just going to come back and have sick photos every time. But
Yeah.
that is the new. It's marketing, man, and I don't. Oh, that's a whole other rabbit hole. But like,
Well, if
yeah,
we were to have our own show, this is one of the other questions. What will we name it, and what will we do differently?
I don't want to say really close. I was pitching some ideas to have at my own show, and it was going to be called the Silverback Classic,
Okay.
and it was going to be like big King Kong trophy.
Oh
Um,
hell yeah, dude.
Yeah,
That's
it
sick.
was going to be because Walter Dubs was a silverback, so me and him were going to do it. But anyway, I got turned down on that idea.
Yeah.
I also had an idea to have Haley Lisenby do a fitness based like a mini women's only thing, kind of how Fit Show does,
Cool as
with like
fuck.
with pro fitness and all that. But Alex doesn't know what he's doing, right? Like I'm just a kid, so yeah, I don't really. What the fuck do I know, Chris?
Not
But
shit, dude.
that's neither here nor there. If we had our own show, what would you want to call it?
It'd have to be the aftermath.
The Aftermath Show?
It'd have to be the aftermath.
I'd have to come up with something better. We could call it like Aftermath Productions Presents.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah. Ooh, what would we call it?
it
If you
would
guys have
be
any ideas, comment below, please.
Yeah, come up with a show because maybe who knows, maybe somebody will like us one day and we'll get to promote a show. But honestly,
Yeah.
I have no desire to do that. So, um, but if we were to do something different, I think we would just apply everything that Will Wise does at the Greater Tennessee Valley Show, take it,
Yep.
do it at our show. Bodybuilders would go first. Um,
Mhm.
that would be another thing. Um, what other ways could we improve? Like,
Black backdrop.
yeah, black backdrop for sure.
Basically, Detroit's lighting, Detroit Pro Am's lighting and background.
Yeah, yeah. Um, what else?
I would want it to be in a venue like Iron City, where it's
A theater.
a, a theater, so
Okay.
everybody has like an even line of view.
Okay.
Um, oh, what else? I would say
Competitor
open.
competitor bags would be bangers.
Oh, dude,
Like,
they would slap, bro. There'd be Halo in every one of those
yeah.
fuckers.
Um, overall trophies would be I've always wanted a Thor hammer. So
Hmm.
like a guy would get the Thor hammer. I'd have some type of fucking Game of Thrones like crown for the women.
Have you seen my axe?
Yeah, yeah, it's fucking dope. So like, I just think I don't know, man. I would just try to go above and beyond for the athletes, which is exactly like when Will started the 10
Hmm.
Show. That was the thing. Like he has the Dallas McCarver Memorial Award. So I would want to do something like that, but for probably like John Meadows,
Hmm.
or Luke Sandow.
Hmm.
So just more, I would line it up to where it makes sense to qualify and then go to, I'd probably put it sometime in end of May, 1st of June, so they could
Hmm.
do the Junior USA's Junior Nats run. Or I would do it later in August for the North Americans. Um, would
I
probably
wouldn't
be,
have snacks backstage. I would have Pedialytes and electrolyte powder.
yeah, waters. I would have
Hmm.
all that. There would be just coaches passes would be affordable, right?
Hmm.
So like you either buy the coaches pass or you buy tickets. You don't spend $300 on all three.
Yeah.
Um, knowing me though, I'd probably vet who could be considered a coach. So like you'd have to interview for that. You'd have to apply for your coaches pass. Um,
You have to hit a most muscular.
yeah, let's just say if you're a guy, you got to be over 200 pounds. That's
Yeah,
just, common,
fair.
right? Yeah, so we'll just leave it at that. That's the curriculum. You have to be 200 pounds male to be backstage. And you can't have metabolic syndrome attributes, right? So like we're gonna check your blood pressure, we're gonna check your blood sugar, waist circumference. So like there's one coach in particular I'm thinking of who's just beat red and fat. Yeah,
Hefty.
you're not allowed, bro.
Fuck no.
Not like you'd come win anyway. Uh,
No, sir.
but yeah, so just standard protocols here of application process.
I think so. I think so. Yeah, and yeah, I think that's perfect. I think that'd be the sickest fucking show. Now, here's the question: where would it be? It's got to be somewhere cool.
Where would you want to put it?
Well, here's the thing. So, because I'm thinking logistically, if we were to just take Beach Bash's location, like in relation to the beach, I think that would be stellar.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, beach
Yeah,
bash is my favorite. Yeah. Uh,
yeah.
yeah, then we do it like late August.
Hmm.
Hmm. Um, yeah, I like that. Let's do it.
Let's.
This could have been what bothers me is like this isn't far-fetched from like being a possibility of happening. Those listening don't know that, but like there's just like two hurdles that I just couldn't jump through to
Mm,
get done. So, but maybe one day.
one day it'll be cool. If you guys can leave comments below of what names we should consider when this day comes, we
You know
really.
what? I have an idea. I'm not
Okay.
bringing you a guest poser. I'm bringing Brooke Walker back because she was awesome.
Mm,
I would bring I would want to make it a pro am, and I would want pro wellness and pro bikini there because we can
mm,
get guys to come, but we need females there. And so even if it wasn't a pro am, say it's just an amateur show, I would bring two or three Um, Pro, like hell, we'd bring Jewett's wife and Jewett,
Yeah.
we'd bring them. We'd bring Luke, we'd make it a big J3 thing. But then also I would bring two other big name like wellness and bikini pros just for a meet and greet, just to hang out, meet everybody, talk to everybody, maybe do like a little 20-minute, speaking thing,
Yeah.
but no one really cares about guest posing. They just want to meet them. So like, hey, here they are. They're sitting in this VIP section. Come see them after your show. You get a free entry to the meet and greet if you competed, that type of stuff.
Yeah, I think it'd be cool. Even if it was a little bit of a seminar too. I think that would be because again, you're talking about some of the like most intelligent humans in a room. Like I would personally want to know what they have to say.
Yeah. I've looked at that too. That the problem is we've looked at doing one. The problem is like keeping when do you do it? Like you would have to do it Sunday, and it's hard to keep people between a prejudging and a night show because they're exhausted from the show. So like the only other option is like Friday night or Sunday post show. Um,
Mm,
and then Alabama's demographic is not that insightful when it comes to learning about bodybuilding. Let's just be honest. So, but trust me, I have looked at some of what I'm saying to do it, and it just wasn't feasible.
gotcha. It would be so cool, dude. It would be so cool one day. Um, I'm trying. Let's see. Here's the next one we'll talk about. This question was growth hormone dosing optimal for muscle growth. Like what would the correct amount be? And I know that's like very blanket statementy.
It is, but it isn't.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to take it to a dose that is super physiological.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, that's where, obviously you need to check IGF levels, all that. But let's just say hormone replacement dosage for a guy or a girl is going to be 2 IUs. You have to take it above that, or else it's just going to be replacing what your body already does anyway. It's like, it's like, why would you have peak normal testosterone levels and then just take HRT? Like,
Yeah.
you're not doing anything. And so what happens is your body's satisfied with what it's getting now. And so it doesn't just like go dormant. It doesn't just go away, but it doesn't hit that peak while you sleep. So it's just like chilling right, at all times, right? Because it's got what it's needed. Now, growth hormone is like it doesn't spike your levels up all day. It's like it does come back down. That's why dosing typically is seen better at nighttime before bed. But so like it's not uncommon to have someone start at 1.5, 2 IUs for a female, and then get them to 3, get them
Mm-hmm.
to 4. Guys, it's not uncommon to start. I start them at 3, get
Mm-hmm.
them to 4, get them to 6. I think the threshold is what I've seen study wise is anything above 8 is not really producing much more. Between 8 to 14, there's not much more like IGF conversion and all that happening. Um, but I do think anywhere from 8, is good. I wouldn't really go above 8. I just don't see the need for it. But you don't need less than 2. Like
Yep.
if you're not doing more than 2, you're wasting your time and your money.
Yeah. Yeah. And I would say also on the flip end, like if you go above eight, one, you have got to have deep fucking pockets. But again, it's running at that point, I feel like you're running the risk of, I don't want to say adverse effects in a sense, but now we have to really look at blood pressure. We really have to look at blood sugar. We're looking at fluid retention a lot more. When in reality, it's like I've never I've seen people do most I've ever heard of is 36 units a day. And at that point, I'm like, how can you quantify that 36 is better than 26 or better than 16 or then better than eight, you
Yeah.
know?
It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. I've done 8, I've done 9. Um, and it was cool. My sweet spot is 5. I like 5. It's affordable, but it's not like, it's above what I need, but it's not overkill. But yeah, I've done 8, I've done 10. I was talking with a client who he was like, should I, he's been doing growth hormone before I use this the whole time I worked with him. He's like, should I bump it to 8? I'm like, hey man, like one, finances aren't where they need to be to do that. But two, if we lose, it's not because we didn't do 4 IUs of growth hormone. And that's where athletes need to break that down is like, what is growth hormone being used for? Now, a female 10 times out of 10 going to try to get her on growth hormone much faster than a guy because if you do, 2, 3 IUs, a kit can last you a lot longer than a guy doing 5 to 6. So
Hmm.
like, and we're not worried about the androgens and the, masculinity side effects that come with it. And you can do it for a long time. Um, but like so that's kind of my first route of using growth hormone is like I would prefer females to use it for sure.
Hmm.
Guys, it's like, hey man, like there's plenty of other stuff in the toolbox out there. Females toolbox for typical, bikini fit model wellness, like they don't have as many tools in it. So it's like we
Yeah.
got to use that.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's the right way to look at it too. And I go back to it too. Like it's also like there's a lipolytic effect. Like there's a lot more that it's doing than just like the primary role of building muscle, right? Like there's different you tell like there's different ways to apply it and utilize it. So you just also have to look at it like in that perspective. My thought is like if you can afford it, I don't see why we shouldn't do it, right? Even if it's at a lower dose. But again, it's especially for guys, it is rather costly at times.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot. We could have a whole podcast on growth hormone, but
Hmm.
just if I were to summarize it, you're going to be able to eat more food and stay leaner, or you're going to be able to get leaner faster, like
Hmm.
leaner in an off season, leaner in a contest prep. It's very beneficial. Women tend to like it better. It helps with hair, skin, and nails. If you were to look at it from like, you know, what's it called? From like a biology, standpoint, what it's doing in your bloodstream is it's like priming your bloodstream with nutrients from fatty acids to glucose utilization to all that. And then it's like where now like all this stuff is in the bloodstream, what transport mechanism, like what taxi is it going to hop on to get there? Like
Hmm.
is insulin coming in, protein synthesis, like all that, but it is taking it and making it like the most efficient like your bloodstream can be for growth.
Yeah. Yeah. It's great stuff. Big fan. Um, but I will also say, like, I won shows without it. I've competed without it. I spent 2019, 2023. Shit, I spent like 6 years competing without it. Like, it's not necessarily the end all be all, but again, like, I'm also not going to turn a blind eye and say it wouldn't be very beneficial, given that you are also consistently adhering to a diet and a plan, because it's not going to save you either. Like, it's again, I've seen people eat like a piece of shit and drink and do all these other things and take growth, and it will make you look like a bag of dicks.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Like it's not the like missing link, right?
Mm-mm.
I used to think that growth hormone and insulin was the missing link. I used to literally put growth hormone and insulin in the same shot, thinking that I could get some miraculous IGF like spike and ride that bleed out more, and it just wasn't the case, man. I overcomplicated.
Yeah, it's like let's just train hard and eat clean first, and then we can do all the cool shit on top of it. Because again, I will say, like, hypocritically, if you are perfect on your diet, you're perfect on training, you're perfect on everything, and then you put in growth hormone, it is like an exponent, right?
Yeah.
To a certain degree. I wouldn't say it's like to the third degree, it might be to the second. But on the flip end, if you do everything wrong, it still acts as an exponent, negatively speaking. But that's how I view PEDs in general. Is like if you take tests and you do everything right, you'll look better. If you take tests and do everything wrong, you will look worse than where you started for sure. You know?
Yeah, like if drugs were the answer, like we'd all be Olympia. Like I'd be Mr. Olympia for I
Yeah.
mean, I'm
Yeah.
I'm definitely a pro when it comes to taking gear. But no, it's just unfortunately it's not the case.
Yeah. Well, if it was too, man, it would just be a game of who could fit the most in a syringe.
Yeah, and they only
I
make
get it.
5 cc syringes that I know of.
Yeah, that's
Um,
all I've ever seen.
you know,
Dude, I can't imagine ripping five at a time. That would blow.
yeah, I used to bang out 2 threes a day. That was fun. I didn't know what was in it.
The pip, bro, the pip. Here's one. So we got one. It's surrounding food jealousy and hunger cravings during prep. In the sense of like you're in prep and your partner eats something around you and you get pissed about it, or you're jealous of how much food someone else gets to eat versus what you're eating. That was kind of the context that was provided to us. Um, I think this is very common, especially for your first prep. I can speak to myself. Like I would be personally insulted if somebody ate around me in my first prep. And I worked at a jewelry store with most adults in their 40s and 50s who were morbidly obese and would eat at whatever fast food. And I would sit there with my tilapia and asparagus and cuss them in my fucking head the whole time,
Yeah.
as if I was not choosing this and they were not choosing their decision, making their decisions as well. But over time, it does get easier. But I think that it comes with just maturity. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I've had like because I'll be around people who, like I'll prep, couples or I'll prep. Some friends are in prep and some friends aren't, and it's like, shut up. Like, who cares? Like, okay, yeah, go eat that. Like, if you want food that bad, go eat it. Like, I'm not stopping you. Like, but I need you. My job as your coach, and this is why my athlete couldn't relate to it, is because um our off seasons are so identical to prep that I have them just like churning like a fine-tuned machine. That's why prep is so easy for them and they're not so food focused is because they don't go from eating, you know, Whataburger 2, 3 times a week and like, pancake this and, like whatever to like, okay, well now it's time to prep. Like, no, their food is very identical. Their
Mhm.
meal timing, their frequency, the amounts just change. And like we may go from like, fattier meat to leaner meat or like, more processed carbs to less processed carbs. But like the reality is a prep and an off season is so similar. And that's why a lot of times I get athletes like I don't like to prep them off the bat because they don't have the fundamentals down when it comes to eating or training to even prep. And so it's the ones, it's the very like amateurs who get bummed out about like not being able to eat food or I'm so jealous or oh my gosh, I'm so hungry. Like, and there's a
And they
difference
quit.
that, yeah, there's a difference in like we're scrolling through Instagram or like we're sending each other, oh, this looks really good. We got to try that to like it's driving anxiety and cortisol up because you're not getting to eat food. That's the issue. It's not like, yeah, we all could want a fucking cheeseburger or some donuts or like it looks good, but like as long as it's not driving up stress where you're genuinely like anxious and bothered that you're not able to eat it. Because a lot of those athletes I'm talking about who like will scroll and look at stuff, like you could sit in front of their face and they'd be like, absolutely not. Like I'm freaking out, over how much olive oil I put on a meal. But on the flip side, you'll have someone who's like, eating 17 gummy vitamins because they're fucking fat and hungry. But they're the ones who are gonna break, right? So it's the ones who are already broken. They're already breaking the what a prep is, who are
Mhm.
gonna freak out about that stuff. And to me, man, yeah, you can see I've caught some people on some freaking gummies before, man.
Dude,
Drive
that's just that one kills me every time. I
drives
can't.
me up a wall. I had a client, this is a perfect example. I had a client, Ruben, love you, Ruben, 17 weeks out, was asking, I'm gonna put cocoa powder and sugar-free chocolate syrup in this, and I'm gonna make a Ninja Creamy. And I was like, why? Like, that's not what I wrote on the plan 17 weeks out. Like, why are you doing that? Well, coach, why is it bad? And he's new, he's first time, never competed before.
Yeah.
He's
Great
like,
physique.
yeah, he looks awesome. He's like,
Mhm.
coach, like, why is that bad? And I was like, you know what? I don't know. And it's probably only 60 calories, but I just don't see Nick Walker doing that. And I don't see Derek Lunsford doing that. And I don't like, we may see John Jewett do it, but that dude is a freak. But the reason I don't like that stuff is simply because it, as you get hungrier, the more Jello powder goes in, you double up on the chocolate powder. It's so much easier to add those extra calories in, and they're just variables that I have no control over. So it's
You
like, get it out.
because fundamentally they're saying yes to themselves in that moment, and that's the problem. Like calorically, that might not mean shit, especially 17 weeks out, whatever. But they're saying yes, and that's that moment when it's like when you're on the stairmaster and you're telling yourself not to put your hands on the handles, and then you say yes to yourself, and then you do it. Then it becomes a way harder to keep your hands off from that point moving forward. And then the next session, lean a little bit more, and then it continues to compile.
And honestly, the more I think about it, is maybe it's just me, and I'm just like, you know what? My clients don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe it's just a pride thing, maybe it's just an ego thing, but I'm like, you know what? Your first time, you need to do this right. Like, because if we get to 6 weeks out and we're stalling, that's the first thing I'm going to be so pissed off at. So,
Absolutely.
like, why, why not? But that goes into this whole thing of athletes are, if they're jealous of food, or their food hunger is through their food, whatever is through the roof, food focus, then it's like, you don't want this.
Mm-mm.
Like, there's something that drives people. It's never about the food when you're good, because the food's going to be there. And I'm not saying that like I don't enjoy good food, or you don't enjoy good food, or you shouldn't be looking forward to your meal, but you shouldn't be stressed out because like your boyfriend or girlfriend just picked up Five Guys and you can't eat it. Like,
Yeah.
I guarantee, go take one bite of it. Go eat the whole thing and then tell me 10 minutes after you're done how bad you feel. Like,
Was it
minimum,
worth it?
knowing you're still 10 weeks out from the biggest show you've ever done. Tell me, was it that good? And if it is, then by God, don't compete. Because
Yeah.
like I would literally, there's not, I can't tell you what I wouldn't shove in my mouth to make me throw it up if someone forced food down me at 10 weeks out.
Yeah.
Like, but I'm the guy, man. Like, I wouldn't give my grandmom a tablespoon of my rice because
Yeah.
that was 180 grams and I needed 180 grams. So like, I can't comprehend people who are like that. And luckily my athletes can't either. Um, but to wrap that all up, it's because my athletes and your athletes too, they do such a good job in the off season perfecting that craft where they're just not tempted by it. And
Yeah.
as you mature as an athlete, it's like we talked about last episode, the better your physique gets, the less you care about food.
Dude, I asked you to pull out cheat meals
Yeah. Yeah.
because I was like, dude, fuck this. Like, it's not helping me. Like, it's not. It was like it wasn't. I was having digestive issues because of it, and I was like, dude, I'd rather just do more clean food. Because also, if I do my cheat meal Friday night, Saturday I have food noise, and it was starting to piss me the fuck off. And I was like, I don't want this. I just want to like go take a dump and move on with my day and act like it didn't happen. So I'd rather just do more clean food because inevitably I know that's going to benefit me more. The other thing too that goes back to like food jealousy is a weird thing. First of all, because again, we are choosing this shit. And we were choosing, hey, I'm going to do this show. You have to, for the love of all things holy, see it to the end and do it the right way the whole way through. Otherwise, you have to look at yourself in the mirror at the end of that prep and just and assess the decisions that you made and the times that you leaned in and said yes to yourself. And that's the reasoning that you weren't where you needed to be. So that's one that's separate. Like that's very weird. Like you should also never get mad at your partner for eating food. Like that's just fucking toxic. When it comes to cravings, I think the other thing too is like to your point, this is a gradual transition with going out of off season into show prep. Food sourcing is not going to change, but what you see a lot of times are these dipshit fucktards, like for example, Hefty, who will say, okay, well, now we have to swap to white fish because it'll make your skin thinner, and we got to swap to egg whites, and we got to do this, that, and the third. And then the client becomes extremely nutrient deprived. And then the food noise starts because they are not receiving the adequate nutrients that they need.
Yeah. And again, like, and so my explanation to Ruben was, I was like, man, we're going. beyond what is fit and healthy. We're going into bodybuilding conditioning. And that is where like you just don't have room for that stuff. And
Mm,
it's why like I'm not a big recipe guy. I'm not a big like here's a mug cake and here's this because it's not because like they're not good and you can't use them, but it takes you out of what this is. And like and that's the thing is you see like Renee and John are perfect examples. They make creative macro-friendly foods. And by all means, they thrive in that. Their education on nutrition and how in sync they are with their body is a billion. Our athletes are like a four. So like we can't trust them in macro matching and logging all the little variables. And then two, like we don't have, again, it's back to building the foundation. We're still building a foundation. John and Renee are picking out chandelier decorations because they are all done and they get to do that. It's just like when you like the more muscle you have, the leaner you are. I could go on vacation for a week and eat like an asshole and I'd probably still look fine.
hmm
If you're 22, barely like minimal muscle and kind of chubby, you go on vacation and eat what you want for a week, you're going to look completely different because you haven't endured the time of what it takes to build that house. You're still entry level foundation.
Yeah. Yeah. It takes time. And like as you level up, it's like you earn more freedom, but then you don't care to have the freedom that you earn,
Hmm. Yeah.
because like I don't, dude, I don't know the last time I used a condiment. I don't know that I've used a condiment this prep.
I thought that was good.
Well, different story. But no, I haven't used one, dude. My dessert. The thing that I look forward to is my whey protein and strawberries, and
Yeah.
that's all that I need. I'm content. I love all my meals. I don't give a shit. I have like the biggest food fixation on mushrooms of all things right now.
Yeah. You have to find the little like Taco Bell sauce and chicken and rice to me is amazing during dieting phases. Um, Tilapia and sweet potatoes is another game changer. Salt and cinnamon on my oats. Love it. Like you have to enjoy that stuff because that is the bodybuilding food. It's not
Yeah.
the protein muffin and the protein cheesecake. And just because you put protein in front of it doesn't mean it's good. It's actually very
Mm-mm.
calorie dense and you're fucking up your digestion. But that's why like I'm not good with that stuff, man. Now I have a few clients who are very in tune with their body and with macros, and I let them have some freedom and some fun with it. Absolutely. But don't get it twisted. When prep comes, they come down and they're locked in on a strict meal plan just like everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
But it's because they've paid their dues and adherence to their plan too. Is like they're not just subbing in random stuff, oh, because I want it today. Like, no, it's the same little mug cake every single day at this meal with these ingredients, and I trust that in them.
Mm-hmm. And that takes time, and that's a skill in itself. And again, you're not going to be able to speed run that shit ever. None. I mean, none of this you can. I think that's the biggest thing that I always want to harp on. Um, I don't know, but again, prep is inevitably a decision, and I understand like there are those moments. There have been moments where I'm like, dude, I would commit war crimes for whatever food. But to your point, if it was in front of me, I wouldn't fucking eat it unless it was advised and explained and everything else. It's like, okay, cool. Like I can romanticize the idea of a burger right now, but I'm romanticizing the idea of winning fucking shows a lot more.
Yeah, like I just don't understand how food can have so much control over somebody. Like it's food. It's gonna be there when you're done. Like, and
Mm-hmm.
don't get me wrong. Like, there's times where I'm like, God, like I can't wait to eat that, and you look forward to it. Absolutely. I'm not saying that like you're just this immune like human, but you just have to weigh out like. You should just get so focused on winning that food doesn't matter. Like fatigue doesn't matter, food doesn't matter, like nothing else matters but winning. And if you're not there, then I don't know what to tell you. I cannot relate to you. I will
Yeah.
try my best to hold your hand through it, but it'll be to the point where I'm like, just go eat it. Like I don't care. Like maybe it'll make you feel better, and maybe the cortisol drop will do something. I can figure out some magic way to spin it that it wasn't that bad on you. But like at the end of the day, that's not on the plan. Don't eat it. You're here because you probably messed up in your off season. You probably
Hmm.
didn't allow me to get your food that high. Like, like my girls eat, man, like 400 grams of carbs, like 70, 100 grams of fat. Like my girls eat. And then when
Hmm.
they come down, they low key starve too. So like,
Yeah.
it's just the name of the game, man. Like we got to get away from this whole like, oh my gosh, that's reckless of a coach of a bikini girl on 1,000 calories the last couple weeks of a show. That's not uncommon. And I'm
That's
not
a
an
normal.
asshole for prescribing that. I'm not like, trust me, I'm very well educated in nutrition, but you have to just do that sometimes to get the result that you need to get.
Yeah. Now, and again, it comes back contextually. If it's 2 weeks, whoop the fucking do. Now, if it's 6 months, that's reckless, right?
Yes,
Right. And that's
yes.
the biggest thing. Like, dude, I've had girls go that low and they've won shows. They didn't care. They were
Look,
willing to do it because they wanted to win.
dude, Abby Clark got 2 rice cakes on her training days towards the end of her last prep. That was all her carbs she got. That's like, let's say on the high end, 22 grams of carbs.
Dog.
Yeah. And her off days, no carbs. Like no,
Mhm.
nothing. Just get it out,
Yep.
you know.
No, it's
It's
what it takes. And there's no, if we could figure it out and have everybody eating so much more food and getting peeled, we'd be the richest men alive.
yeah. Trust me. Yeah. And there's stuff, there's stuff out there you can try, but it's gonna affect you. Like it's gonna affect nutrient absorption, it's gonna affect all this other stuff. So like there's no I think the biggest takeaway from this is there's no way around hard work and suffering when it comes to bodybuilding.
Yeah. And that's why I hate where the industry's kind of shifted. And I think we're starting to see it shift back. But it's this whole idea of like, how can we do this? Like, I understand efficiency is an important part of this, but why have we gotten away from work? The same with these workouts. Oh, well, there's too much fatigue in this single arm tricep extension. The fuck there is. I don't believe that for a fucking second. Like, what happened to the idea of like when we were young and dumb and had no idea, and we'd go in the gym, and the goal was to just do a lot to feel proud about it?
Yeah. Like, and again, it's like fatigue management is important, but it's based around like your program design should be based or like should be like working within that parameter so they're not like driving fatigue through the roof. And then sometimes fatigue just is what it is. You have to look at the visuals and accept it like, okay, yeah, they're just fatigued. We have to keep going. Right?
Yeah.
Like if it's just not becoming detrimental to their performance. But even then, there's times where performance is just going to go. And so you have to restructure their training, but it's not like I'm putting RIRs on everything. I'm not watering down their sessions, but it's like, hey, instead of 3 squat sets, we probably should just do 2 today.
Mm-hmm.
Probably should move squats to the end because you just don't have what you used to have. And, we're not going to get the stimulus out of it that we need. It's, I was training legs with Andrew the other day. He's like 12 days out, and we did a session. We did hack squats at the end. We did single leg press instead of both leg press. Like we still went to failure, but we just pulled the sets off. I was like, hey, look, get to a top set of 8. We're going to hit a back off set of 10. We're going to go to the next thing. Like it's just very to the point, meticulous training, but it's not like I'm not babying him into, manage fatigue. Like
No.
you manage fatigue when you get done with prep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Dude, and again, in order to need to manage fatigue, we have to create fatigue.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you got to
It,
actually push hard to get there, to
and,
find it.
and don't get me wrong, like there's phases and preps where there are pushes and pulls. And
Mm-hmm.
yes, like you do have to consider fatigue when you're like feeding someone out or pulling cardio back or do whatever. But like, it's not, sometimes you just don't have time to worry. Like it just doesn't need to be the focus, right?
Yeah.
Because now it's to the point where like anti-fatigue is more like driven than getting in stage shape. And you can't get in stage shape without being fatigued. You just can't do it.
Impossible.
And that's where the term manage fatigue. You're managing it. You're not eliminating it. Managing is like you manage an employee, you manage them. You oversee the work. You don't do their work. You manage what's going on. You call the plays, but like you can definitely hold fatigue's hand all through prep and be just fine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like if we have a cup, we're trying to keep it from overflowing, but we're going to keep it kind of pretty full most of the time.
Yeah.
It's really it. Like it's got to be kind of full most. That cup's never going to be fucking empty if you're going to get peeled.
And then there's times where you have to make weight or you're trying to get a look and you're running out of time. And hey, look, can you give me 4 days? Can you give me 4 more days of just pushing? I promise I'll pull you out of it. Like, but just give me a little more. And like that's a coaching call that you have to make that is against every bit of like, oh, well, fatigue body is going to drive cortisol and it's going to drive this and drive that. It's like, no, dude, like it's not. Like they're fine. You know,
Yeah,
your body is fine. Yes, they will be water retentive. Their weight might stall, but watch what it does when I feed them out of it. Weight
yeah,
drops, water drops, boom, boom, boom. It's just like, you, then he goes back to everything we talked about. You have to have a coach that knows what they're doing.
yeah.
Because if not, you're going to end up with too many refeeds, too many, days of rest, too soft of training, and you're going to end up with a very mediocre bodybuilding.com physique.
Hell yeah, dude. 3 sets of 10. It's sad to see, dude. I think I don't know, dude. Again, this fatigue management wasn't even a conversation a decade ago. And now it's been like, I feel like the last 3 years, it's all that people want to speak about. And the people who generally speak about it, I've never seen their athletes
Dude,
do
well,
anything.
the same coaches will preach fatigue management, but then they're having their bikini girls do 5 sets of 30 on like every movement ever. And it's like you
Well, Alex, it's to get
but
them toned.
yeah,
Okay.
it's like, man, you are so let's just do another podcast on prep training because I'm way off and I'm on a whole nother episode right now.
We can do that next week.
Yeah, we'll do that next week.
Dude, I get to see you next week.
That's actually really, I haven't seen you since last time I was in Nashville.
I know. Last team lift. We have one this weekend too. And then the season opens the fuck up, bro. I'm excited.
Get it. Wearing our black cats next week.
I am.
We have to.
Fuck yes, dude.
Yeah.
I'll pull
I haven't
there.
worn I haven't worn mine yet.
Do I wear my threes or my fours?
Your threes. It's all
Okay.
your threes.
I'll
Um,
do my threes.
yeah, it's gonna be fun, man. I'm excited. I get to see you in person. Obviously, visuals are gonna be fun, but then we get to hang out, cut up jokes, set up. We'll come up with a cool camp name and we'll set
Yeah.
up everything. But
Hell yeah. I'll make sure I shave before.
yeah, perfect.
Uh,
Perfect. Yeah, I gotta get a fresh cut for all the glam shots we'll be taking.
Gonna be super cute. Just fucking, you know.
Yeah.
Um, I'm excited though, bro. I'm already dreading packing, but it's gonna be sick. And Galenga dude is so grainy,
Hmm.
so grainy.
That old man muscle, yeah.
I strive to have that.
So I've got a client actually who's signing up with me the day after the show, doing the show, competing against Kalinga. Um, yeah, and I was like, well, I hate to tell you,
Sorry.
man, he looks fucking good.
Yeah, like starting on an awkward note, I guess.
No, he's a super nice guy. He reached out to me, about 12 weeks out and was like, hey, after this prep, I'll finish with my coach and then join with you. And we've been talking this week, and obviously he wishes he just would have worked with me the whole time, but neither here nor there. So that's exciting. I get to meet him, and that'll be cool. And we'll start his rebound off right. So we're all, man, it'll be a good time.
We're gonna train legs at armbrust and throw up and die, and it's gonna be great. Um,
Yeah,
you guys, go ahead.
let's get our training on in sync.
Yeah.
Because yeah. All right. Anyway, close us out. Sorry, we're just now we're friends.
For everybody listening, if you can leave us a 5-star review, or if you can subscribe, or if you can like, or if you can comment, or if you can share with a friend, any of those would be greatly appreciated, if not all of those. You can also give us show idea names because one day we will use it and you will get shouted out. And until next time, thank you for listening to the Coaches Union.